Fandom can be toxic. Take it from somebody who knows.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I've dealt with quite a bit of it. You have a good game, the opposing team is messaging you, your family, your wife.
Your wife is in me DMs, hey baby!
And if you have a bad game, sometimes it's your own fan base messaging you, letting you know how much you suck and how they wish you got cut or you played for somebody else so they didn't have to watch you on a nightly basis. So for once on this channel, I do think I actually know what I'm talking about in this video. I mean, shit, some sports fans take it so far they get banned for life. Like, remember during the World Series when that Yankee fan tried to rip Mookie Betts' arm off? He's gone, while others just end up in jail. But they also thought it would be a great idea to get butt naked and go streaking across the field. And then you have the absolute psychos who will get in fights and sometimes even murder people outside of sporting events. From sports to music, from movies to politics. There are countless examples of fans that took it a little too far. I mean, look at this guy.
Is everyone else spending $1,200 in 7 days?
No, I don't know. I don't know if they're serious. If they're serious, they are. If they actually want to fucking catch them all, that's what they're fucking doing. That's what I'm fucking doing.
But I'm not dumb. I understand this always has been and always will be a part of life. That what we love is the best and that what we hate is the worst. Talking to you, Tom Brady. I'm actually a Tom Brady fan, but growing up a Steeler fan, he ruined many Super Bowl runs for the Steelers, so I'm glad he's done playing. Hey everyone, I'm Jared and this is History Bits. Now when I say crazy fan bases, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Maybe it's sports fans from Philly or Boston or New York. Or maybe it's the teenage girls battling over whether Selena Gomez or Haley Baldwin should have married Justin Bieber. Maybe it's the Swifties. No. I know. It's the famous Team Edward versus Team Jacob Twilight rivalry of 2009. But it is pretty funny. Regardless of what it is, we're gonna fight about. And we all know that this tribalism, it's not just relegated to sports or entertainment. I would say it's most prominent in American politics, which is basically a branch off of like a soap opera in the WWE. And all of this chaos really got me thinking. So I began to research different fan bases, and I discovered a few instances where things probably went a little bit too far. So let's get into it. What better place to start than 44 BCE? Why? Because I said so. And it's my channel, and this is a history channel. Okay, I'm sorry, I flew off the handle. I'll back it down. I'll bring it down. Back then, some Roman dictator named Julius Caesar had an immense fan base, particularly among the plebeians. But he also had many detractors in the Senate. Detractors just being another word for haters.
Hate us because they ain't us.
These haters, particularly Brutus and Cassius, feared that Caesar's power would undermine the Republic and thus plotted to assassinate him. And they succeeded in a pretty messed up fashion. They stabbed him 23 times. Jumpman, 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 Jumpman. The common people were like, hey, what the hell? I like that guy. Why'd you do that? And the fans' hatred of each side began brewing. This was until Caesar's funeral when things really hit a boiling point. A Roman general and politician named Mark Antony, not J-Lo's Mark Antony, gave a passionate speech to the crowd, pointing to the injustice of Caesar's murder. This speech, that was famously documented by William Shakespeare, had a profound effect onto the people and led to a frenzy of anger. Immediately, the streets of Rome were filled with angry rioters voicing disdain towards the assassination. These rioters would attack the homes of conspirators, hunting them down one by one until most of the senators and their allies were killed. You shouldn't piss off the wrong fans. Next, there's the Nika Riots in 532 AD. These riots were one of the most destructive events in Byzantine history, sparked by nothing other than chariot racing. Which, that probably makes sense today. I'm not really cued in on the NASCAR, but you gotta assume there's some guy that loves Darrell Waltrip and another guy that loves Kevin Harvick, and they just butt heads about everything, right? I'm sure NASCAR fans would watch that and think I sound like an idiot.
Show me your butthole! Show your butthole!
But it does sound pretty badass. I mean, nowadays we're watching ex-YouTubers fight 75-year-old former heavyweight champs, and they're watching people ride around in chariots. I don't know. I mean, that sounds fun. I'd like to watch that. In Constantinople, there were fans of the two main chariot racing factions. The Blues and the Greens. Yeah, great names. Way to go out on a limb. These two fan bases had been in conflict for years. During the chariot race at the Hippodrome, a minor dispute occurred. Well, that minor dispute escalated into a massive riot. Fans of each faction, who were associated with political and religious groups, turned on the emperor, Justinian I. The riots lasted several days, with the mobs destroying everything in their path. Thousands of people ended up being killed, and the city was burnt worse than a coffee from Dunkin'.
Love Dunkin', guy. What are you talking about?
It's pretty tragic. It looked like a gorgeous city. Okay, this one is pretty funny. I mean, people died, but you'll see. Astor Riots. A massive riot started because there was two different actors with polar opposite fan bases. And this rivalry ran deep. Now, not as deep as Troy and Gabby versus Sharpay and Ryan, but it was tense. First, there was Edwin Forrest. He was an American actor known for his boisterous yet patriotic style. He really appealed to the common man. Then there was William Charles Macready, a British actor with a more aristocratic, refined style. Forrest fans did not like Macready one bit. They found him smug and pompous, mostly British, and they just, no matter what, they were not going to let him succeed. So they began to protest all of his shows. And soon, that shit-talking turned into throwing bottles and bricks at the theater that he was performing at, which happened to be the Astor Opera House in New York City. On May 10th, 1849, pandemonium would ensue. Deadly riots broke out, resulting in 22 deaths and hundreds of injuries. Jeez, that actually isn't funny at all. What's wrong with me? But okay, you know what? In my defense, like, you're gonna burn down buildings because you're a fan of two different actors. Like, what are we doing? Let's bring this a little closer to the modern age. One of the most mind-blowing things for me is people's reactions to famous musicians. Like Elvis, who had quite the way with women. Oh, I'm very happy to be here. Perhaps the most iconic and well-documented reaction was screaming and fainting at his live performances. As Elvis hit the stage, particularly during his early years in the 1950s, young women would often scream uncontrollably and faint at the sight of him. The press referred to this phenomenon as Elvis hysteria and Elvis mania. But I mean, look at the guy. Oh, yeah. Like it very much. But he's not the only one. Just like Elvis, Michael Jackson's live performances often triggered fainting and emotional breakdowns. Fans would collapse in a dazed state, overwhelmed at the mere sight of the guy. During his victory tour in 1984, many fans reported that the moment Michael appeared on stage, it was as if time stopped. Fans would faint or sob uncontrollably, and some had to be carried away by security. All of that is child's play compared to Beatles fans. The list of insanity is endless. Riots, marriage proposals, love letters, stalking. Just watch these videos of fan reactions.
Truly is a social document for our time. 40 young ladies fainted, but authorities feel that some were playing possum, so that they might be lifted over the fence and thus be nearer their idols.
Watching this stuff just makes me sad. Nothing in my life will ever make me feel that kind of euphoria. Like, holy shit, I could win the Mega Millions, I could win the $1 billion Powerball, and I don't think I would be that stoked. But enough about me, let's talk about soccer. Now, I don't think that there is a sport on this planet that makes fans crazier than soccer. And one of the wildest stories that I've ever heard was about Andres Escobar. I'm sure most of you have heard about this. For the ones that haven't, it's pretty messed up. In 1994, Escobar was part of the Colombian national team for the FIFA World Cup, held in the United States. Colombia was one of the favorites to win the tournament, and the team had been playing excellent. However, the tournament turned out to be a disaster for the Colombian team. In their opening match against Romania, Colombia lost 3-1, which was a tough blow. But it was their second match against the United States that would haunt Escobar and the nation forever. The game was tightly contested, but in the 35th minute, Escobar became the unwitting villain of the match. While attempting to clear a low cross from the American team, he inadvertently scored an own goal. The look on his face was truly devastating. The Colombian team would go on to lose 2-1 and be eliminated from the World Cup. While it might seem like just a game and an unfortunate event that was accidental, it ended up being a lot more than that. In Colombia, Football isn't just a game. It's a matter of national pride, and the team's failure was seen as an embarrassment. After Escobar returned home to Colombia, he had a really difficult time. He received threatening phone calls and was harassed constantly. Then on July 2nd, 1994, he was murdered in Medellin. He was shot 6 times by a group of men in what went on to be reported as a revenge killing. Apparently, the man who shot him said, "What's the score now?" before firing the bullets. His murder stunned the nation and the football world, pointing to criminal violence that plagued Colombia in the 1990s. Depressing, I know. Let's lighten the mood a little bit with some more optimistic fans. Is there a more devout group of fans than Star Wars fans? The midnight premiere of The Phantom Menace in 1999 was one of the most culturally significant and chaotic fan events in film history. After 16 years of waiting, the excitement surrounding the first Star Wars film to be released since the original trilogy was absolutely unprecedented. Fans of the franchise who had grown up with the original trilogy were not only eager to see what George Lucas had in store, but were also emotionally invested in the return of Star Wars to the big screen. The intensity of their anticipation would lead to crazy fan behavior, both in terms of dedicated and extreme fandom. The release of Phantom Menace wasn't just about seeing the movie. It was about being first in line! Weeks before the midnight premiere, fans camped out in front of theaters around the world to guarantee a ticket. Weeks! The lines to the theater stretched for blocks, with some theaters experiencing so many fans that they had to set up barriers. The craziest moment came with the intense competition between fans. They weren't there to just stand in line. They would dress up as Jedi, Sith, and all the other iconic characters. Most of them engaged in lightsaber duels and reenacted their favorite scenes while in line. And some of those lightsaber duels turned into legit fist fights for a better spot in line. The situation led to what some dubbed the Line Wars, where fans battled for the best spots in line and seats in the theater. I have never seen a Star Wars film in my life, so this I don't know. It doesn't really do much for me. So there you have it. I mean, it's truly a tale that's as old as time. Sports, politics, movies, music, this stuff just makes us crazy. And we pick a side, and that's our side. You know, sometimes it's not that bad. Lightsaber fights with your friends and cheering on your favorite sports teams is great. But when fandom turns into riots and murders, it sucks. The crazy part is, this is only a teeny tiny sample size of the stories of when fans take it way too far. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching History Bits. Please like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what videos you want to see next. Can't wait to see you on the next one.